Check, 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 check. Hope YouTube can hear us. Someone's on YouTube. Let us know if you can hear us.
Then we'll go fully live after that.
That'll take me about a minute.
You want to do a little preamble before we officially start the show?
Yeah.
Little getting everybody, maybe take some questions.
I think I'm over-recording what we already did. But that's fine because I moved it. Yeah, so. Delete all. Okay.
So all the audio from the bonus is still good.
Yeah.
Good.
I've been moving them into folders as we've gone today.
I applaud.
They can hear us. That's great.
Hey, we're all good? Good.
Okay. So, here we go. I'm going to swap to video. Hey, here we are.
Yeah.
Welcome, YouTube streamers.
Hello. So you want to before we officially start the show, let's have a little fun with the people who have tuned in. Do a little bit of questions, a little question and answer if anybody's got any.
Yeah, if you guys have some questions in the YouTube chat, let us know. Legend Maximus, are you a dick? Who are you? Man, I don't know. Uncle Buck, settle down. That's quite the panting.
Listen, I'm a big guy, and it takes a lot of air to run this big machine. So, plus my nose is really loud. Like that was an issue on earlier episodes before we started gating and EQing my whistler out.
Yeah.
Man, that thing just puts out a lot of noise, and the microphone picks it up really well.
There's the other one. The other one that drives me crazy is the.
I do that all the fucking time, and it I don't notice I'm doing it when I'm doing it. I try not to.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get in that smarmy frame of mind where I want to make a point and just be extra smug, I'm always going right before I say it, and yeah, that drives me crazy too. So I feel your pain there.
Yeah.
If I were a professional, I wouldn't do that. But
heyo, Buff Gob.
What?
I don't know. He said heyo, so I say heyo.
Heyo.
I'm gonna be doing some Mad Cuck streaming here coming on this week at some point.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna finish up Saints Row, and then I'm gonna do Batman Arkham City.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I could ever get the equipment to do, fucking Batman behind you, you're Batman.
They can't really see most of it because
You changed it up
at a weird angle. So
yeah.
I may shift this over.
Well,
after this episode.
And I don't have my Ghostbusters paper up this time.
Yeah, because I threw that away. I took it all the way to Oklahoma, and then I threw it away.
Did you really?
Yeah. It just ended up in my box of recording equipment.
Yeah, I was actually going to go and buy a Ghostbusters poster, and I thought, why?
Yeah.
Because it's just going to hang here on this packing blanket.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to see it again, and something's going to happen, and we're going to poke a hole in it, and then it's going to be gone.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be fucking ruined.
Are we clones? So I'm Tab Burt, and that's Uncle Buck. I wear the brown hat. He wears the trucker hat.
I wear some sort of goofy red hat.
He wears blue glasses. I wear black glasses. There's a lot of differences. They're subtle, but they're there. I have this very fancy microphone. He has a very different fancy microphone.
It's not fancy at all. It's a piece of garbage. Actually, it's not a piece of garbage, but it's, I don't know. A microphone's a microphone to me, man. As long as it...
Oh, man.
Listen. There's caveats there, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously different levels of quality, but, like, within those levels of like, in the same category, there are a lot of them are more or less interchangeable. Now...
Amazon the other day was like, hey, here's a product you might be interested in, Neumann U87. I was like, yeah, I would be interested in one of those. And I pop it open, like $3,200. I'm not that interested in it. Thanks, though.
Well, I mean, and there's only so much a microphone is going to do for you. I realize that you don't want to try and record a podcast with, like, your cell phone. Or I recorded...
You'd be surprised. I've listened to some really shitty-sounding podcasts that sound like they literally just have they're holding their cell phone up there and so I'd say something, and then I'd go, hey, what do you have to say, Buck? Talk at the end of that.
Asterios.
It was when he did his little book tour for Toys for Cheap. I downloaded all the different shows that he was on, and some of them were good, and some of them were really bad.
Yeah.
There was one where it sounded like, I think they were doing it over Skype, and it was almost as if they were all in different stages of internet hell. So some people's voices were digitally getting fucked up this way or that way. Let's see how long that hair is.
Let's say, what do you do in this show? We did the hair thing already, but it comes down to about yay.
About nipple length.
About nipple length. I'm not showing my nipples, though.
That would be gross.
I mean, it'd be really easy. I just pull this down, but...
No, thank you. YouTube, I don't want to get my YouTube channel flagged.
For male nipple nudity?
Yeah, male nipple nudity.
I don't think you can get flagged for that, can you?
I think you can.
That'd be really weird.
It would be weird.
I know now you can show female boobs on Facebook as long as you claim that they are...
Artistic?
No. As long as you claim that the person is actually a female to male trans and they haven't gotten their... and they haven't gotten... The caveat is they haven't gotten their double mastectomy yet. And Facebook has to go, fuck it, you got us.
That's so fucking stupid.
I've heard about this twice now. A couple of them were first-hand accounts.
Facebook is cancer, man.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, but it's a very effective platform.
Every time I look at Facebook, I just know that we're getting further and further from God's light.
I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of ways we can go with that topic, but I don't know, man. What Facebook is for me now is just a place to go and see people get mad at each other and yell and scream, and just me sit back with a glass of whiskey and be like,
Yeah, the problem is that you can't navigate those comments in any way that's like helpful or useful at all.
Sure you can.
Man, every time I try and look at a Facebook, like I'll see someone commented. It'll be like Uncle Buck commented on this post by giant third wave feminist dipshit McGee, and I'll go, oh, I gotta see what this is, and I'll go over there and I'll click the link, and then it just gives me this 200, 400, 1,000 comment chain of, and
I'll give you that.
Nothing anywhere near wherever you commented. I'm like, well, guess I'll never know.
I'm not swimming in that ocean.
Because as you just scroll through, and nobody listens to one another anymore. It's just,
no.
it's just like, well, my opinion is, like, oh, no, my opinion is, like, you guys aren't actually talking. One person is making a point, they'll like make an argument, a cogent point, an argument, and then the other person just comments like, oh, cooking a faggot. All right. I mean, the same thing happens on Reddit too. I got into an argument about CBS All Access, and I was like, here's my 5 reasons why I don't want CBS All Access, and they're like, well, then you're just gonna download it illegally. That's illegal. You're breaking the law. I'm like, fuck you. Who are you? Are you losing money from me not watching, not buying the subscription service? Then shut the fuck up. You're clearly not listening to my points. I don't give a shit about you because you have the dumbest fucking responses I've ever read.
Well, here's something I've noticed about when I'm using Facebook, especially if it's an active thread. I will go in, I'll pop in like a sniper, ka-tow, I'll drop my 2 cents worth, and then I will go up to the little options, the little 3 dots for options, and click turn off notifications for this post, so I don't even have to follow. The only thing, don't even give a shit unless someone responds directly to my comment. At which point, like the noise on my phone has changed. I don't even know what it is now. It's just some little bling. I'm like, oh. Somebody's asking for it. Where's my shades? Where's my hat? Oh God, it's time! It's time!
Yeah, I there's no discourse. It's just people shouting. Like, you guys, you might as well just go out in the park and just be like, ah! Because that's all you're doing.
Here's what it is. It's the online form of paintball.
Yeah.
It's just people just pop up and just as much lead as you can possibly sling, just as hard as you can.
That means nothing.
I know. That's paintball means nothing. You should.
Yeah, but at least paintball you leave with a bruise. This you don't even have to be. You don't even have to confront the alternate opinion because you just dismiss them as an idiot.
Well, because half the time they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
100% of the time they are.
I mean, because they're arguing.
Everybody on Facebook's an idiot.
I mean, I'm not gonna debate you on that either. But
I can't tell you how many times I have gone in and I've seen like a post and I've thought, man, this person's a fucking moron. And I start to type. I'm like, tap, tappity, tap, 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 tap. Let me just pump in some text here. And then I get about halfway through that and I go, yeah, they're not going to fucking care. They're not going to change their mind. Just delete it.
I talked to Jeff Holiday, whoever you are. I can't see your name from here, but the one I talked to you on Twitter. I talked to him. He has agreed to come on the show. We just got to get his schedule. And I said what I told him was I would talk to this guy over here, and I haven't done that yet. You know who Jeff Holiday is?
No.
Can he come on the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. You want to do it next week?
Absolutely.
Okay, so get on Twitter right now and tell Jeff Holiday he can come on next week. We'll have to figure out what day that's going to be, but fuck it. Yeah, we'll do it.
Might as well.
Might as well. What attracted, or the connection was when I put up that Ask Uncle Buck about GMOs.
Yeah.
And then this guy here was like, wait, this Jeff Holiday guy, GMOs. I was like, fuck it, yeah, whatever. I don't even know where he stands. I haven't watched anything.
GMOs make me a rage. Every time.
Save it.
Yeah.
Next week, buddy.
Well, yeah, okay.
Next week.
I think there's probably a zinger in here somewhere.
Maybe. I don't know.
Let's see.
All right. You want to get started?
Yeah, let's get started. I'm going to...
All right, here we go.
Welcome to Here's What I Don't Get. From north to south, east to west, the only formerly international podcast to tackle all of life's toughest issues. I'm your host, Tab Burt, and with me today in the Dungeon Studios from the great red state of North Carolina,
yeah.
I know him as James Buchanan Buck, but you guys know him as Uncle Buck!
James Buchanan? Hey, I know a song. I can sing you every president to the tune of One Little, Two Little, Three Little Indians.
Yeah, are they all just Donald Trump because he's the most important one?
No, it starts like Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jackson. Yeah, all the way up to Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, and Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump. You got those three odd ones. Like after that verse, you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I guess after that, you're on your own, bitch.
So, another in-studio episode.
Thank fucking God. Oh, my. Man. Listen, this is going to be this recurring curse on the show. Every 3 episodes or so, we're going to have to flop back and forth. And that's a pain in the dick hole, man.
Yes, it is.
And you're talking to a guy who had a yeast infection one time. I know what a pain in the dick feels like. That's a pain in the dick. This is.
That's way more information than I ever wanted to know. Jesus. You want to tell everybody about our new bonus content that's coming out?
So we just recorded, like not even an hour ago, a bonus episode for Patreon subscribers. If you're not on the Patreon, you need to get on the Patreon right now. Patreon.com/HWIDG. That stands for Here's What I Don't Get. And get at least on the $1 tier because we recorded about 30 minutes-ish of Here's What I Don't Get, the mini-sode.
Yep.
So we did about 8 issues, just rapid fire.
They're the little things in life.
The mosquitoes.
The very obnoxious things. Like, for instance, one of mine was having to pay for ketchup packets.
That is such bullshit.
Yeah. And we go into a little bit more detail than that. We kind of go back and forth, but it's
not like the solutions episode.
Yeah, we got it done. So we're gonna be releasing that, and it's a double bonus because what we're doing is it's a bonus episode the $1 patrons get.
Yeah,
and it's a video bonus episode the $5 patrons get.
That's right.
So everybody gets to see how the other half lives on those. So that should be be really fun, and it's a good way to get some of those little issues off your list that are like I have my list, and I have those ones that are saved for if we start to run short on time, and then we just say fuck it and do all the big issues. So I got to finally cross some of those off my list because
See, I'm the opposite. I'm always struggling for something to be mad about on the show because after a while, you've done, this is what, 11
episodes.
11 episodes for you. After a while, man, you start running out, or at least I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I just run out of the big things to gripe about. So I'm like, what pissed me off this week? Well, I stubbed my toe on the bed. I mean, I guess I could talk about that. I saw something weird on YouTube the other day. There's not really any legs on that one. So I'm always just like struggling for some dumb thing to be mad about. And then ever so often one will come to me like, oh God, this one's dynamite. I better save that for when I'm in studio with Tab.
Yeah.
So we can get so I can disappoint him in person.
Yeah, talk about. Yeah, I don't have that problem because I'm just angry at everything always.
Well, that also comes with the territory of being in your mid-20s, and you see the world in your mind's eye. You see the way the world should be, kind of like the way a voicemail should sound, and then you see the world the way it is, like the way that one voicemail sounded last week.
Yep.
So, did you bring that?
I did, and now we need to figure out how to get it into the show. So last week, do you still have the one from last week? So last week we received this email, this voicemail.
You got to give me more lead time than that, motherfucker.
We'll just cut it out.
Where'd it go? Was it this one? Yeah.
Hey, Andy here. The accident is doing. Oh, man. I can't believe your cheese potato and 2x4 is actually seriously that 4 inches. Oh, my God. Oh, you had me having too hard. And you're like, oh, yeah, 2x4 is an inch and a quarter by 3.5.
Yeah, that's about all that I can take. Why so serious? Ooh.
So he's going on and on and on and on and on.
He sounds like he's drying his hair at the same time. Whoosh.
Can you access the Dropbox on that?
I think I can.
Yeah. So
Where'd you put it?
It's in the episode 32 folder with everything else. So in editing that episode, I went to that voicemail and I spent like the better part of a half hour trying to make that legible. And then I finally got it pretty close, and I think I was finally able to discern what it was. But I put it through.
All right, you ready?
I put it through compressor, EQ, noise reduction filters, hum reduction filters, boosted some things. It's a nightmare. So here's what we're gonna listen to it now.
Hold on.
Hey, Andy here. The accident is doing. Oh, man. I can't believe your cheese potato and 2x4 is actually seriously that 4 inches. Oh, my God. Oh, you had me having too hard. And you're like, oh, yeah, 2x4 is an inch and a quarter by 3.5. Oh. That would be really funny if 2x4 wasn't an inch and a half by 3.5. Oh, God, you're a fucking idiot. Oh, man. Oh, whoopsie. Oh, okay.
About 7 dozen times, Andy called and he said that he can't believe that there are idiots out there that don't know that a 2x4 isn't actually 2 inches by 4 inches, and then correct me and saying that it's an inch and a half by 3.5. And that I'm a fucking idiot. I'm pretty sure that's what that voicemail says. And so, yeah, I got that number wrong off the top of my head, but I'm also not a carpenter. I'm a lighting and sound guy. So my carpenter friends know the answer to that off instantly.
Okay. I mean, thanks for calling in, buddy.
Like we said, next time maybe keep your head
in the car. Here we go again, these fucking sharks.
Grab your grabby stick, get a grabby stick with a shark at the end, and that way when you adjust your mirror, you're not having to lean all the way out there with your head out in the wind when you make a voicemail.
Also, don't let the shark do the talking for you. It's not how that works. You can have this back. That is the gift that keeps on giving, man.
The grabby shark?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I never thought that joke would have that much and we still don't have that fucking video out.
We still don't have that video out?
From episode 25? Where we originally did that joke? Where we bitched about...
Yeah, I think it's lost to the sands of time at this point.
That was going to be a good video. I was really looking forward to that.
Video.
Anyway, so I came in a little hot today, and then we'll get to issues after this. Unless you have something else.
No, that's what I got.
So, we were originally, in my mind, we were going to do today's episode at my place.
Yeah.
And so, Aunt Buck had to leave town for a couple of days. Both kids are gone. She was leaving today at 5. And so, this morning, I had it all planned out in my head. I had to pick up the boy from the babysitter when I got off work at 3. So shoot up there. That's about 20, 25 minutes to get the babysitter from where I work. Pick him up, and then get him back to where she works by 5 o'clock. And when she got off at 5, hand him off, run to the house, slam in the shower, and scrub the stink off from this miserable North Carolina humidity. Just in time for Tab to walk in the door, and we're going to shoot upstairs. And I was already going to have everything set up by the time he got there. And we were going to sit down, and we were going to power through an episode and power through a bonus episode. And we were going to drink whiskey and play video games and just bro the fuck out. So I text him this morning, hey, so here's my address, and here's about what time to show up. And he goes, we're doing this at your place? What the fuck?
Yeah, because I got up at 8 a.m. this morning and got all this stuff set up to the point where basically at that point in time, aside from my computer, everything was ready to go. And then the plan was that before you got here, I was going to come plug the computer in, and that way when you got here, it was just plug, record.
Of course, you weren't going to have to bring anything. I've got microphones, whatnot. But anyway, so
no,
I get that. So
my microphone.
I can just plug it straight in my interface. But anyway, so I said, okay, well, look, we can do it at your place. That's fine. That's going to put me getting there kind of late, though, because I still get that 5 o'clock hurdle to work with.
Yep.
So I get off work. I got like 2 hours before I have to have the boy to her. So I think to myself, hey, I've got this great idea. I'm going to run to the house before I get the boy, and I'm going to grab a shower. And because I didn't know before I left the house that I needed to bring my gear, I got to pack up my gear anyway. I want to do that before I drop him off with her, as opposed to afterwards.
Yeah.
So I run home, and I strip down, and I'm getting ready to jump in the shower. The water's going. There's steam going to the bathroom, and I get a text, beep-doop, on my phone. I'm getting off early. I'll be out here in a couple minutes. So you just go over to my mom and dad's house with the boy and wait. Listen. So that's going to be a problem. I'm up here at home, 25 minutes away. So it would be cool if I'd have known about that. BRB shower. You know, just like, so do you have the boy with you? No. So that's 45 minutes away from me at this point to get to where he's at. But I had it planned. I had the math planned out in my head where I could do it all and get to her right at 5, and then shoot up the road to your place. So she goes, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go to my mom and dad's house and wait on you to get him? I was like, well, I mean, if your aim is to get up the road to see your family, like,
start going.
I mean, like, at this point, maybe you should go get the boy, and then I'll just, like, catch you on the way back to give you a goodbye kiss and him a goodbye kiss, and away you'll go, which is what ended up happening. But God, why does everything mini issue? Of course, we just did a bonus episode of these, but here's a mini issue. Why the fuck does everything I try to schedule have to be a clusterfuck?
Because you only schedule with yourself. Had you texted me yesterday, I would have not set up the studio.
I did text you yesterday. I said, hey, how does tomorrow sound?
But you didn't say where. You just said tomorrow.
I said, I've got the house to myself, and I assumed, this is my fault for assuming, I thought the phrase, I've got the house to myself means, hey, we can do the episode here like I've been dreaming of for a while, where I don't have to go somewhere else. I can just sit at home in my underwear, and people come to me, and then we talk about things. I'm not coming over to
your house if you're just in your underwear. That's fucked up, dude.
I don't even wear underwear. But we're going to sit here, and we're just going to have this great time, and then he can either crash in the guest room if he needs to sober up a little bit, or we can play video games and chill out. I can cook a meal. Hey, we're going to do some episodes of In the Kitchen with Uncle Buck where you get to guinea pig my cooking. And no, didn't work out. Nothing worked out. Nothing worked out for me. And to top it all off, I had a nasty headache.
No.
So that's why I'm drinking painkiller.
Sorry about that.
Well, the headache's not your fault. I think that's North Carolina's fault.
That's probably North Carolina's fault. I believe it. So,
all right. I think it's your turn.
I think it is too. Let's get to some issues. I've got a big one this week.
Uh-oh.
Here's what I don't get. College.
Okay, I'm on board.
College.
You mean the electoral college, right?
No, I mean literal higher education college. Because here's the thing.
That you shelled out a bunch of money for.
We got sold a bill. We were given a bill of goods with college told since elementary school
Since birth.
that's what you do. I mean, there's a whole like staggered thing in learning where like you have to do well in elementary school so you go to a good middle school. And then you have to do good in middle school so you go to a good high school. And then you have to do good in high school so you go to a good college. And then you have to do good that so you get a.
Yeah. Everything.
So we're told that like it's hammered into us from a young age. Got to go to college. Got to go to college. Got to go to college. And 35 years ago, when our parents were going to college and then they could get out and get a job, that made a lot of sense. And also, college costs a lot less. But now it's become so ingrained in our society that there's no way to escape from it. And the other thing that I don't like about college that I think is a scam is that. There's this philosophy of you have to get a well-rounded education.
What does that even mean?
Well, it means that you can't just take what you want to do. You have to get a little bit experience in a little bit of everything. You need to take an English class where you can learn how to write, and take a math class, and take a science class, and take a science class with a lab, and take a foreign language, and take a non-Western civilization, and take an American history, and take an understanding art class, and that.
It's kind of like when they say, God, I'm gonna co-op one of your other issues here. When they say you have to eat the whole thing that they give you on the cheeseburger, you can't just have the meat and the cheese. You got to have all the vegetables and everything else. Yeah.
So no, that's a great analogy.
It's wrong as far as burgers are concerned, but I see what you mean with college.
So who's the people that decided that we need this well-rounded education?
Not us.
The people at the college.
All the people who make money from you going to their... Imagine!
Because if I only took the classes that I needed, I'd only be there for 2 years and not 4 years. And then that cuts
could be done in a year.
Income in half. So your vested interest is in keeping me coming back to get more education so you can charge me more money, so you can get more money for your college. College tuition has gone insane in the last 30 years and when tuition is covered, because a lot of states now are doing things, I think Maryland's one of them, or Massachusetts is one of them, where you can get free college if you go to a state school.
Right.
But here's the thing that they don't tell you about that. You get the free tuition. You don't get free fees. For my college, all my tuition's covered. It's all paid for. Scholarships, grants, whatever.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You can't get scholarships for fees. And I pay $5,000 in fees every semester.
Holy shit. What kind of fees?
Keeping the grass clean. There's an athletics fee. I don't know if you know this, but the Sooners are one of the top performing schools in the nation, or teams in the nation in every sport there is. So maybe, I don't know, you probably don't need that $150 from me, you motherfuckers, selling fucking football tickets for $500, you sons of fuck.
Yeah, but it's a money racket.
And they pull that shit out of you, and it's little thing after little thing after little thing, and it's all these fees for shit that I'm not even going to use. A fee to have access to the fitness center. Well, the fitness center isn't open hours that are convenient to me, so I have an actual gym membership. Can I get that money back?
No.
No.
That's not... No.
Sir.
That's not how that works.
Sir. Oh, please.
Yeah.
You can petition to have them take away a fee, but the you never using it is not one of the reasons why they will ever forgive a fee.
No.
Yeah.
It's available to you regardless.
Fuck you. Here's the other issue with college, is that we're seeing more and more now colleges are acquiescing to the demands of their students on things that they can charge more money for. So
cuckoldry?
Like cuckoldry, like safe spaces for this group, safe spaces for that group. They will they're now doing segregated commencements for different ethnic groups.
Segregation. Man, that's a novel idea. Where have I heard that before?
I know.
And here's what pisses me off about people of color wanting to introduce segregation. Are we recording right? Everything going? Everything? Yeah. Okay. Here's what pisses me off about people of color wanting to reintroduce segregation. That's cultural appropriation. Because who came up with segregation first, motherfuckers?
We did.
We did.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Wasn't good for you then, but now that it's your idea, oh yeah, there you go.
No, yeah, this is fantastic.
How's that for being politically correct?
So it's and then what happens is you get these people that they graduate from high school, top of their class. They go to college and get their bachelor's in something. Then they go get their master's in something. And then they get their doctorate in something. And then what do?
They fuck around.
They go get a professorship back at college. So there are literally people that know nothing outside an education scenario. And you instead of getting trained by people that know what you're trying to get the education in, you're getting trained by people that learn the training of the education that you're getting it in.
But listen, there's one upside to what you're talking about, is that sometimes those professors who've never been in the private sector get fired from college for being frauds. They might start a very creative business in a brand new field, like investigations or eliminations of various natures.
Yeah. I'm going to count that as a Ghostbusters.
God damn it!
We all know what you're saying. So, it's just, and there's a whole, what's the word? Mentality behind, in the collegiate system, where we look down at people when they go to a trade school, when they go get their degree from a community college, because it's not this fancy, well-rounded bullshit. Like, fuck you, fuck your well-rounded. I don't need to learn college algebra, because, spoiler alert, no one fucking uses it.
I mean,
if I have a math problem, I'm asking Alexa, what's the square root of triangle with the fancy bullshit and the squiggly letter E and the number I, and then that's in some parentheses, and then there's some other shit, and there's a bunch of letters in here. You know what Alexa says? No one fucking cares!
I would pay good money to hear Alexa say that. Listen, I will say this. There has been one thing that's been going around on Facebook that has convinced me that maybe we do all need to bone up on our math skills. There is a math problem going around, and apparently nobody can figure out for their fucking lives which method of solving it is correct, and the two different methods produce.
And it's like three. It's got some things in parentheses.
The order of operations shit. Yeah.
Fucking with your order of operations. And here's the thing. Again, no one fucking cares. Like, that problem is never going to approach you in a real situation
until there's an asteroid coming.
Unless you're a jerk off mathematician, in which case go do all the jerk off mathematician shit you want. Go specialize in jerking yourself off with numbers. Go specialize yourself with figuring out how, if Juan travels to Mexico and he spends 10 hours on a train and 7 hours walking. What was his average speed on the train if he traveled a total of 1,800 miles? No one fucking cares, Juan. You want to know your average fucking speed? Get a speedometer. And this is kind of bullshit thing that we punish students with doing things that are outside of the scope of their intentions of learning, so that we can charge them more money, so we can keep them a slave to this system. We load them up with debt, and then you're forced to just take whatever the fuck you can get out of college, not something that's actually worth your skills. You're treated like shit in your first job because you have been conditioned. The other thing that happens in college is they condition you to think that your time is worthless. I can't tell you how many times in college it's like, well, you may have to have things outside of this class to work on this project, or you need to put in extra hours on this show because it's part of your degree plan. Like, here's the thing, fuckface. My time is valuable. I'm paying you to teach me something. I'm not paying you to waste my time outside of this classroom.
I agree with you there. Now, I do agree that when there's a fucking gnat in my drink. What the fuck? I do agree with you that when you go to learn, like a trade school, if you go to a trade school, you're there to learn a trade. When you go to college, you're there to learn something very specific. Like, you typically, if you go to college, you already have in your mind some sort of a goal, some sort of a mission, a vision, if you will.
Yes.
Now, the other thing about college that bugs me is, because everyone's supposed to fucking go, if you show up and you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, you are fucked. Because college doesn't help you.
They're not going to help you answer that question.
No.
They're just going to, just take some core classes right away. And then, once you've kind of figured out, like, so just spend money? Just spend money, and maybe you'll figure it out.
Because this is exactly what happened to me. I didn't finish college because I had no fucking clue what I wanted to do. one of the poor life choices on my part, right? Like, I'm not blaming anybody else for that.
Yeah.
I just never could figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. For some reason, I had it in my head that Overmortal was going to be my job, and I was going to go around and play guitar for everybody, and everything was going to be hunky-dory. That didn't work out. So I got to college, and I took a couple of classes here and there, but because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, I wasn't fucking motivated. And nobody there, as long as you're shelling out money just to wander around on the pretty green grass in the circle in the middle of the college, they don't give a shit if you get something out of it. As long as you're forking over that green dough, that's all they care about. So all these counselors, I would be like, you go to the counselor, they're supposed to counsel. It's in the fucking name, counsel. They're going to counsel you. Listen, man, I don't know what I want to do with college. And then they're supposed to ask you questions like, well, what are your interests? What are your skills? Like, what's something you're naturally good at? And then build upon that. But no one asked me that question. And again, I'm not blaming them. It was still my fault for not putting that thought into it. But they were like, well,
when you're 19 years old, how are you supposed to know what the questions you're supposed to ask are? That's your literal fucking job. But they're not interested in that. They're not interested in educating you. They're interested in getting that money. That's why these college classes, you end up taking something like psychology or math or a history class, and all you do is internalize that data for 10 hours before the test, push it all out of your body, and then
it's gone.
It's instantly gone.
It is so
this
gone.
Well-rounded education, you have learned nothing. And it's not even about education, because if you could display the skills required to complete the class, you don't get to just skip it. You just have to now take a higher level.
Yeah.
It's like, well, according to your ACT, you are very advanced in English. So instead of letting you skip your English 1 class and your composition class, we're going to put you in an English 3 class and an advanced composition class.
Yeah.
Fuck you. When I took composition at OU, I did a year at TU, and at TU I took what OU considers English 2. So they would let me into English 1 because I didn't have ACT score to take English 1, and I was like, but you have credited me for the higher level of English, so I can't take the lower level one. So we went back and forth. They ended up putting through in like all kinds of overrides in my student whatever, and inadvertently I got enrolled in an international students English class. So it's like, it's me and then a bunch of people from China and Africa and Russia and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, this is painfully easy.
Yeah.
But that counts the same for me, a native speaker, as it does for them. Like, oh, well, fuck it.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
You paid the money for it.
Yeah. And the idea of credits is really weird because, again, you're taking shit that you don't need. So whenever I had no idea what I wanted to do with college, so everyone said, well, listen, just go for it. It was community college in Statesville. Everyone said, listen, just start off by getting your 2-year associate's degree. Like your general, hey, I went to school degree. Your participation award degree.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that, and I'm like, okay, so what classes do I need? Well, you need a couple of these category, you need a couple of these category, you need a couple of these category. So I ended up taking some bullshit classes like interpersonal communication. Let me tell you about interpersonal communication, buddy. For one, we had this weirdo for a teacher. We'll call him Rob. Rob looked like like that guy from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, sort of. He was this really weird built guy. But anyway, and he also, when they did the production of Rocky Horror Picture Show, he played.
No, it's a production. It's just the Rocky Horror Show.
I don't care. Just whatever. They actually did that play. So I don't give a shit. He was actually the weirdo transvestite. So he was Tim Curry. I know that much. So we're in his class, and he starts going on about didactic relationships and shit. And so he's basically saying, like, you're going to go through several didactic relationships in your life. And you're like, yeah, it's called fucking. We get that part. Where do we get to the point where we actually do some sort of work here? Like, I get any 2-year-old understands the theory of interpersonal communication where you're talking to somebody else. There's not a whole lot deeper to go in that. So let's not spend 3 weeks on that. Let's get into something where I actually learn how to effectively communicate. So when we get to that portion where we start talking about communicating, The motherfucker, get this. We come into class one morning, there's a girl sitting over in the corner, in her little desk in the corner, and she's visibly upset, like sniffle crying, like she's been crying a lot. And he comes in, and he sees her and goes, "What's wrong, sweetheart?" And she, under her breath, mumbles, "My dog died." Her dog died that morning, and she was very upset. Mm-hmm. But he didn't hear what she said correctly. He thought, I don't remember what it was he thought she said. So he goes, "Well, it looks like we have a whiner." And we're like, fuck!
You are an expert at interpersonal communication.
We looked at him and we were like, holy fucking shit, dude! Her dog just died. What the fuck is your problem, man? This is interpersonal communication, and you just told this chick she's a whiner because she's heartbroken that her family pet died? That's like her best little furry friend. Like, I'm not a dog guy, but I understand the relationship you have with your pets because they're like this unconditionally loyal companion, and she's beside that. She's probably had that thing since she was 10 years old. She's beside herself, and he walks in, "You fucking pussy, your dog died." Fuck you, you whiny bitch. She looks up at him, and this look, her eyes get as big as dinner plates, and you visibly see the tears welling up. And first, her jaw drops open. And then you start seeing the quiver. Oh, and the lip comes up. Oh. And she just recoils in mortified horror. And we're all like, people actually got up and put their arms around this chick. And she's like, her hands are shaking because she feels like she's just been attacked in this vulnerable moment. And then the rest of us are looking at him like, "Rob, you're kind of a fucking asshole, right?" Like, I mean, everyone wants to yell like I just did, but you got to be understated because it's in college. Like, she said her dog died, you fucking prick. And he's like, I guess I should have worn my lime-flavored shoes. Boom.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And
that joke makes it all better. Right on, but that's college.
Congratulations. Yeah, and then there's the issues of tenure where basically, hey, you worked here long enough, now we can't fire you. No matter what you say, no matter what fucking lunatic thing. It's like a lame duck presidency, but it lasts forever.
Lasts until they die.
So they toe the line for those first 8-10 years, and then tenure,
all of a sudden,
no holds barred. All of a sudden,
you can write your kooky book and not get fired for it.
Not get fucking fired for it. You can tell. I mean, you can say anything you want. You could tell a student that she's being a whiner for having a dog, and there's a complaint. Sorry, he's got tenure. We set this thing up so once you work here for a while, you're just totally unfireable no matter what you do.
I sneaked in another reference on you, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
All right. Anyway. Yeah, I agree. That's a big issue, man.
It is. It's a huge issue, and I'm hopeful that in the next 35, 40 years, the college system as we know it gets decimated because it is a shit show, and it's a scam. It's a huge fucking scam because you can game the system with these credits because they're just credits for things. So, for instance, you have to take an artistic forms credit. And even though I'm a theater major in an art department doing fine arts,
yeah,
I still have to take what are the two requirements? So I have to take an artistic forms where I go and take like an understanding music or an understanding dance. I try to take understanding music, and I'll talk about that in my next issue.
They used to call that music appreciation.
Yeah. And then I took...
So now they can't even just use fancy terms in college. Music appreciation means understanding music.
Yeah, and then I took understanding dance, and that was actually an interesting class. But then the other thing we have to take is an upper level gen ed. And so I took the history of American musical theater as a theater major. I took a history of American musical theater because the musical theater department is technically an outside department, so that counts.
Right.
Even though I have done literally a dozen musicals, that's totally cool.
Oh, you could probably teach the class at this point.
Yeah, once you get to a certain point, it's like, I know most about this. And the reason why I took that class is because it's legendary for how easy it is to pass it.
The easy A.
So might as well just take the easy A class. I think I got a B because I don't. I played video games that whole class.
God bless Game Boy.
Yeah, I did it on my laptop. I'm just back in the classroom playing Saints Row.
See, laptops weren't that good when I was in college. So what you had to do was you had to either sit back there with a Game Boy or a Game Boy Advance. If you could bring a laptop, but they frowned on that, because we were still using books. But what I did get in trouble for was when we had our computer class, like generic computer class, where they taught you like what HTTP means, and I sat in the back. My liberal buddy Uric, who had just gotten to Iraq, I would sit in the back on AOL Instant Messenger with him and shoot the shit instead of paying attention. And when the teacher would call, she thought she would get me, right? She'd be like, Buck, back there in the back, I see you're talking on Instant Messenger. What are we talking about? I'm like, you're talking about FTP.
Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? I'm paying for the class. If I want to waste my own fucking time, fuck you. Every fucking time I go into a classroom and the professor's like, I don't want you to use your laptop. I want you to take your notes by hand because I don't fucking care. It's my fucking money. It's my fucking class. If I want to waste it jerking myself off playing on Reddit, fuck you. I get to do that. It's my money. I'm paying for this. If I want to waste my own time getting an F and have to take the class again, maybe I'll fucking learn something.
But the problem was she called me out thinking I wasn't paying attention, but I was listening. And so she's like, what are we talking about? Like, you talking about FTP. What does that stand for?
You're not my fucking mom. That's what it stands for.
It stands for File Transfer Protocol. She goes, oh, well, if you think you're so smart, why don't you teach this chapter? I said, stand aside, bitch. I'll do it. But at that point, it was a challenge. She was in her 20s, right? And I was like 19. So at that point, it was a challenge. They're like, okay, you think you can do it? Come up here and do it then. So I did. I taught the entire class better than she did. And when it was all over, I turned and looked. I didn't have a microphone, but I turned and looked at her and I was like, mic drop, bitch. Because you've been teaching these guys this same fucking class for 3 days, and the 60-year-old guy in the back can't get it because you're not explaining it in terms he can understand, but I explained it to him in simple language that made fucking sense instead of just reading text off a page and expecting everyone to recite a fucking fact on a piece of paper. And the guy understood what an FTP was.
Yeah.
He probably died a year later, but who cares?
Yeah, so that's my issue. College, I don't like it. And for the chat, I just want to say this: send me an email if you want a pizza roll.
Mr. Plinkett.
Yeah. Someone said,
God!
I look like Mr. Plinkett. So
that's pretty. Hey, I want listen. I want to preserve this chat over here. So if you're in the chat before we end the stream, like, capture all that and send and give it to one of us somehow. Because I want to read all the comments. I can't read them live because
give it to Buck because I don't care.
Yeah, I want to read the comments. I want to see I want to answer questions. I like the interaction, man, because I don't have any friends in real life. So
I like the interaction too. Just it's very difficult. It's a fleeting thing. It's part of the event. The chat exists and then it's gone.
Yeah, but I want to be part of the chat too, but I can't because I'm busy doing a show. All right, so here's what I don't get. When you type in your password and whatever you're typing it into says it's wrong, even though you fucking know you typed it in right. I'm waiting for a reaction.
I think you typed it in wrong, Buck.
No, I didn't. So I want you right now to make up a password for me to use as a reference so I don't accidentally blurt out my password. Right? Just make up a password for me right now. A word followed by a number. And about 30 of these are going to pop up in the chat here any second. Okay, so son of a bitch. You son of... I got to change this now.
You want another one? I'll give you another.
Hold on, I'm going to just modify this one. His password is
Ghostbusters Sucks 87.
Ghostbusters Sucks 87.
You asked me for a password. I gave you a password.
Hey, wait, this is your reference. You wrote in Ghostbusters, so I'm going to write Ghostbusters rules.
No, now it's your reference, and now you're breaking the rules of the show.
And tab is a cuck 87.
Mega Cuck 69. That's what someone said in the chat.
What, Mega Cuck?
Yeah, Mega Cuck 69.
We'll use that. Mega Cuck 69. I love that. I'm going to change all my passwords to that now.
I have a very specific password pattern. I choose two random words, two random unrelated words, a piece of punctuation, and then at least a 3 to 4 digit number.
Okay, that's fine. So
And every different password is different.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to discuss my password habits.
Security through obscurity.
Yeah, I'm not going to discuss my password habits because that's why I had someone else make up a password. So let's say my email password is megacuck69, and so I'm going to go log in to my email. Actually, here's what happened. It was my Xbox. All right, I was going to play Xbox, my Xbox One, and I go and it says, "Oh, it's been like 5 months since you touched me. You're going to have to log back in to your Microsoft
Fucking
account."
stupid.
I don't care. So I
No,
go.
Why? Who cares? Just play the video games. You stupid box.
That's not how Xbox works, buddy.
Damn it.
That's another issue I'm going to bring in. So I'm like, fuck me. All right, I know my password is megacucks69. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to go trying to use the controller and the little on-screen keyboard to do. Oh god, that
you need
fucking
a chat pad.
Yeah, that fucking kills me. So
I got a chat pad.
I had one on my 360, but I don't have one now. So I go to type it in. I spend all this time typing it in. You son of a bitch. You suck my cock, you motherfucker. So anyway, I go to type all this in, and it says, that password's incorrect.
Your password should be P@Sword, like Podesta, a true real American hero. That was in the chat. Fantastic.
This is so much better. We should do this every week. So anyway, I type in megacuck69, and it goes, nope, that's not your password. The fuck you say? And so I'm on the couch, and Aunt Buck is in the other room, and I'm like, oh. She goes,
Puts on his hat and glasses. He just picks the Xbox up. He's got it held up in front of him. He's like, listen here. You
no,
son of
not
a
yet,
bitch.
not yet. You gotta paste these things, man. If you're gonna make up stories about hats and shades, that's very sacred. Clark Kent didn't just run into the phone booth at the first sign of trouble. He waited till shit escalated a little bit. So he had to gawk at it a little bit to decide if it was worth the effort. So I'm like, okay, wait, maybe I mistyped it. Because I know it's not megacuck70. It's not megacuck68. It's megacuck69. So okay, here we go. Type it. Capital M, little E, little G, click, 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 click. Aunt Buck's going, what? Why are you breathing so heavy? I'll explain it in a second. Just hold on. God, hold on. Enter. The fuck you mean it's not right? Son of a... Maybe it is megacuck70. God, why would it be megacuck70? That makes no sense to me, but I'm going to type it in. Megacuck70 was just a son of a bitch. It's taking her fucking ever. Enter. Or A, or whatever the fuck it is. Wrong. And when she hears me rev the motor like that, she's like, uh-oh, what's got you triggered in there? You need to just stop. Because she knows, she's learned my signs. It's when I huff, or when I rev the motorcycle, or when I start licking my teeth like this, like, she knows, he's about to get unpleasant. His dad's about to come out. We better fix this. What's the matter with you in there? It's not taking my password. Are you entering the right password?
No.
No.
Clearly not.
Obviously not. No. Thank you.
All
Problem solved.
this time I was thinking, if I put it in the wrong password enough times, maybe you'll just give up.
But you don't say...
You put on the right one. No, you know what? That makes a lot more sense.
But I'm
glad you're here.
I don't say that out loud.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Aunt Buck.
Thank you.
From the bedroom for solving my fucking problem. But I don't say that to her because I try to be nice to her.
I love you so much.
I try to be nice to her and not be a complete asshole all the time.
I'm going to step outside for a minute.
I'm going to step outside with my hat and shades and scream at the car.
I feel a lot better now.
So she's like, "Are you're typing it in right?" And I'm like, "Yes, baby, I'm typing it in right." "Are you sure?" Yes, I'm sure. "Well, why is it not taking it then?" You know, that's a real good question. And if you have that answer, let me know. So I go to type it in again. So at this point, I'm going to go like, okay, I'm going to start with Megacucks 59 all the way to Megacucks 70. I'm going to just see what happens. I'm going to pull out my phone and try to log into my Windows Live from my phone to see if it works. Nothing's fucking working. I'm like, because I really want to play. I don't even remember what the fuck it was. I don't even remember. It might have been Doom. Might have been Fallout 4. Might have been Halo. I don't know. I don't even fucking... It doesn't even matter at this point. I could have just wanted to look at the pretty background at this point. All I want to do is log in and play a fucking video game because I've got 30 minutes to myself for once finally, goddammit! And you're ruining it for me because I spent 15 minutes typing in the same fucking password! So it goes, hey, you know you got this little 6-number pin you can type in if you forget your password. Really? I remember that. Okay. So obviously this is where you just use the control pad to type in like up, up, down, down, left, right, and then you're in, right? Because everyone's going to use the Konami code.
Yeah.
I mean, duh.
Yeah.
So I go up, up, down, down, left, right. Nope, that's not it. The fuck you mean that's not it? Is it up, down, left, right, left, right? Nope, that's not it. Oh, goddamn you, you son of Microsoft, Bill Gates! You and your fucking Windows 10 and your Xbox, you son of a bitch!
L1R2, L1R2, left down, right up, left down, right up. That was the weapons cheat for the PlayStation for Grand Theft Auto.
If I had had a keyboard on my controller at that point, I would have just started typing in like Doom cheat codes. ID, SPI, SPOPD, DN clip, whatever. So anyway, that's Duke Nukem, by the way. So finally, I go to the last resort. Reset password.
Oh, yeah.
Now you got to enter in the correct email address. Now I got to remember which non-Microsoft, because I can't log into my Microsoft Live email, not that I ever do. Who would?
Yeah.
So now I've got to remember which email address, because I've got like 3 or 4 that I associated with, that I remember, 3 or 4 that I remember associated with this fucking thing. Because I have an email address specifically designated for a spam collector. Like if I go to download something and it goes, hey, give me your email before you download this. Spam my email at yahoo.com. Do it. But you never know which one I did. So now I've got to spend 30 minutes typing in at 5 seconds per letter every fucking email address I can remember and the password. Ugh. Finally get it done. Okay, it's time to play some whatever it is I'm going to play. I think it might have been the Halo Master Chief Collection. I don't even remember. Time to play some Halo. Oh, your mom's back with the kids. Fuck! The kids out of the house was the only reason I could do this, and now my time's gone! So that's that issue.
Yeah, I feel that.
And there's a reason I don't play a lot of video games, because I just don't have that kind of time. So I spent years of my childhood playing video games, and it was great, and it's nourishing to the soul.
Yeah.
And so when I finally can carve out a few minutes out of my adult life to just exist in some other world that's so precious to me, and it sucks to have accounting ruin that for me.
Yeah. You know what the solution to this is, I think?
A shotgun, just throw that fucker in the air and blow it to pieces.
Yeah, and then PCMR.
It's PCMR.
PC Master Race.
Listen, man.
You know who never forgets your password? Steam. Steam's always there when you need it.
Fuck Steam.
Always updating every time you turn it on or off.
Yeah, but then you got updates to deal with. Listen, I used to be part of the PC Master Race.
To deal with on fucking the Xbox too. Every time I turn that damn thing on, it has some
I'll give you that.
fucking update.
Yeah.
And then every time you try to start a game, here's an update.
Yeah, I can. I bought. What was that fucking game? I just said the name of it a few minutes ago. Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I bought Fallout 4, and I get home. This is the night it came out. I didn't stand in line, but like I got there after everyone left, and they still had a couple of copies left, and I'm like, suckers, and your pre-orders. Fuck you.
I saw a Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition for sale the other day.
I don't give a shit. I don't need a Greebly. I just want to play the fucking game. I don't need a bunch of more shit. Greeblies, Pip-Boys, and fucking
Dude, that's
poker
the dream.
chips.
Pip-Boys are the fucking dream.
What are you going to do with a Pip-Boy?
Everything, dude.
You're going to stick your fucking phone in it because it's not a real Pip-Boy. I might be interested in that. It's not going to slow down. If it could actually slow down time.
Pip-Boy.
No, that's not a real Pip-Boy.
I don't want it to slow down time, but like this smartwatch fad, that's us coping with the fact that we don't have Pip-Boys yet.
If they had a real Pip-Boy that functioned the way it did in the game, I might do that. So then I could eat my meal without having to actually stop and do it. I could just pause time and go, cheeseburger, click on a cheeseburger on my wrist. Click, cheeseburger's in my belly. Let's go, motherfucker, save some time. That's not how it works. Oh, God, I think I might be dying. Well, I'm going to click on this little thing that says stim pack, and suddenly I don't have cancer anymore. Good job!
No, stim packs don't cure your radiation poisoning. Radaway does. Come on,
I'm
man.
aware of... you
Come on,
reckon
man.
everything I'm talking about, you
Scrub.
son of a bitch. I'm going to punch you right in your fucking glasses.
Dude.
Listen, so if the game came with that, I would do it. This walking medical laboratory that might extend my lifespan so I can be mad about more things, I would do that. But that's not what it is. It's a fucking toy. And I've got I've got 2 kids. I can't walk through my living room at night because there's toys. It's like a bomb made of toys exploded every 10 minutes in my house. And so I'm always walking over Doc McStuffins and Peppa Pig and Blaze. That little fucking whatever, or cars or some sort of shit. I'm stepping on shit all the fucking time. I don't need more toys. And man, that's just clutter. So I just get the regular game and I go home and I go to just came out, just released that day. And I go home and I slide it into my Xbox One and I'm like, I'm going to shoot someone in the wasteland. It's time to update the game.
Yep.
So I start revving the motor. There's just a truck in my living room that I get into, an old diesel truck. And when something pisses me off, I just get in. That's what I do. So I had to update the game the night I bought it, the night it came out.
Yeah,
oh, I
day
was
one
so
updates.
fucking pissed.
It's super common now.
But I used to do PC, but man, my PC's so out of date. I was talking to somebody about that this week. But I don't have any kind of money.
Yeah.
So that's my issue.
It's a good one.
Went long enough.
Yeah, we're already at an hour.
Holy shit. It's going to be a long episode.
Yep.
Your turn.
Don't we have to do...
Oh, God, that's right. You've already done an issue. So I guess it's time to do our housekeeping. So this week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you in part by... Ricada News Network. Definitely not fake news. So... the first story this week, the streets of Germany are alive with the sounds of music. The streets are alive with the sounds. You're nonplussed. Okay. The G20 meeting of world leaders, which was held in Hamburg, Germany, was met with protest by the infamously peaceful Antifa. An estimated 10 to 20,000 protesters took to the streets of Hamburg.
Demonstrators, Buck.
Demonstrators, okay, that's fine. Took to the streets of Hamburg blaring techno music and peacefully dancing while chanting anti-capitalist slogans. During the events, which were peaceful, First Lady Melania Trump was trapped inside of her hotel as peaceful protesters flooded the streets and peacefully threatened her and the spouses of other world leaders. The festivities continued for the duration of the G20 meeting. Other peaceful activities included vandalism, looting, beatings, and stalking anyone who was thought to be right-wing.
Yeah, that as long as it's peaceful.
Peaceful beatings, that's what I'm all about.
Peaceful
Peaceful
beatings.
stalking. Lauren Southern was there, and the mainstream media were peacefully tweeting her location every few minutes so that the people could follow her around and peacefully rape her to death. So
Yeah, the Antifa and the G20 nonsense. Well, I don't even know why we have that. What's even the fucking point? Why do we have the UN and the NATO and all these other things if we're going to keep on doing more and more fucking meetings with these goddamn people that are not from America? Fuck them. Fuck them. Deal with your own fucking problems. We don't give a shit.
all I know is there's footage of Trump and Putin cutting up and shooting the shit, whereas when you contrast that with footage of Obama and Putin.
Well, that's because Putin paid for the election for Trump, man. Don't you?
Oh, you
CNN.
motherfucker. So there's the footage, they contrasted the footage of Trump and Putin versus Obama and Putin is having a good time with Trump because they're both alpha males, and they're both like, yeah, motherfucker, we're going to run the world, whatever, I don't know. And then Obama's sitting over there just cucking out like he always does, and Putin is visibly like, God damn this fucking weirdo.
Big old buzzkill, like Buzz Killington.
Yeah, okay, next story. President Trump again in the news. President Trump made news again this week when he held a televised video conference with 2 American astronauts on the space station. Did you see this? I think it was yesterday.
I don't have regular TV, so.
It was on the internet. I watched it on the internet while it was happening. They're broadcasting it to classrooms around the world, specifically for students to see the president talking
Oh,
to.
so you were like hanging out in school?
Yeah, that's what I do. I hang out in classrooms with little kids, and then I get run off, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
Good one, buddy. You fucking weirdo. During the chat, the president extolled not only the accomplishments of both astronauts, but also on NASA's plan to put human beings on Mars sometime in the 2030s. Have you heard about that?
I have.
He's signed mandates or whatever. He wants people on Mars, buddy. For what reason is beyond me. In typical Trump fashion, however, he insisted that the timetable be moved up. He wants more results.
Good.
And even half-jokingly insinuated that he wanted American boots on Mars within the years of his first term in the White House, or, failing that, his assumed second term.
Yeah. It's great. I'm all for that. The reason, Kennedy came out in the 60s and gave the famous speech about we go to the moon and do the other things.
Because it is there.
Because the Ahad.
Because it is there.
I believe that we should make it the goal of this nation to put a man on the moon and bring him safely back to the Earth before the end of the decade is out. Yeah. Nixon did not make a speech like that when we were planning the space shuttle missions, which is why they never were. They weren't sexy. They weren't cool. He didn't want to do it. So that's why that program just kind of like floundered around. Yeah. But I'm glad now that we have a president that's pushing for it, making it a goal, because that's united. It united the hearts and minds of the country in the 60s to think that we could go from launching a space satellite hardly bigger than this microphone to putting man on another
celestial
body.
Yeah.
Leaving that celestial body and coming the fuck home.
America, motherfuckers.
Kick ass.
That's
cool
what
shit.
Yeah.
Especially if you think about how quickly we went from Kitty Hawk, our first powered flight, to landing on the moon.
So Kitty Hawk was what, 19 what?
17 maybe.
1917?
1915, somewhere in there.
Well, they had airplanes in World War One.
So it must have been 13. Maybe it was 1913.
Either way, it was in the early 19. It might have even been, I don't know. Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, only about 100 miles from where we are now.
I have no idea.
I've been there.
Yeah,
it's a fucking field.
But we went from a flight that lasted barely 12 seconds to landing on the moon in 60, 70 years. Incredible. And then we've just fucking stalled and sputtered and done nothing in space. So we should be landing on planets and kicking ass. A new planet every year. That's my goal for America.
Now, I have two questions.
Yes.
I'm going to ask this one first. What is, for you personally, Tab, what would you like to see us accomplish on Mars?
Building a colony.
Why?
Because we can.
I mean,
there's nothing better than manifest destiny and American exceptionalism than us putting a colony on another planet and then just staring down at Earth and being like, yeah, China,
motherfuckers,
fuck you. That's it.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Why did we venture out past the Appalachian Mountains? Because it's there.
Because it is there.
Yeah. We cross the Mississippi. We manifest destiny. Across the whole country, we go to the highest mountains because we can. We go to the deepest trenches because we can, and we should go to Mars.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think it would be, but like, is there we're going to try and like colonize the entire planet? We're going to try and terraform it? Are we going to try and develop that technology? Are we going to try and go? Are we going to try and then develop some sort of a faster than light space travel drive to take us to the next hospitable planet that we don't have to?
Well, they're working on creating warp drive right now.
Now, I know I don't know, I haven't studied up on this in a while. There was a drive, I think it was called the EM drive. Have you heard about that?
Maybe.
Where they took a certain type of magnetic field and they fired a laser through it, and they found out that it created a bubble in which, essentially, it was a reactionless thrust.
Yeah, it's a warp field. You create a warp in space where you make a big bubble of space that's bigger than you, and it pushes you along, and your little space doesn't travel at all.
Yeah. But there's actually two separate stories. The EM drive was one story, which is controversial, but then the warp field that it could potentially create was another story.
Yeah.
So that's enough on space travel for this issue, or for this news segment. So This has been Rick Hater News Network. Definitely not fake news. So, in the meantime, that takes care of our legal obligations where we pay off part of our retainer. And Mikey and what's the other guy's name?
Polly.
Mikey and Polly don't break our shins one more week. But we still have to keep the lights on here in the Dungeon Studio. So for that, we use patreon.com. If you go to patreon.com/HWIDG.
We ran out of money.
The money's out. Everyone donate right now. If you go
thank
to
God, someone donated.
someone donated a couple dollars, the lights are on for 10 more minutes. If you go to patreon.com/HWIDG, that stands for Here's What I Don't Get. We have 3 tiers that you can donate to if you like the show, if you want to support us. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see us do some more of it. Now, Tab, we have the 3 tiers. Are you familiar with them?
I'm not.
You son of a bitch.
I am. We have 3 tiers. We have the $1 tier, which gets you early access to episodes on Wednesdays and Thursdays instead of when they normally come out on Fridays. You'll also now be getting our mini Here's What I Don't Get episodes of the $1 tier. We've got our $5 tier, which gives you access to our bonus episodes, and now video access to our mini Here's What I Don't Get episodes.
Yeah, so you can see my ugly face.
And then we have our $10 tier, which gives you access to all video episodes, all the lower levels, and 10 words that you can say, Buck will say in a sexy southern drawl.
That's right. Now, there's a couple things I want to address here. First is, just prior to going live, you and I recorded yet another episode of Sippin' and Savorin'.
Yes, we did.
What was the name of the whiskey that we just tried?
It was Dalmore's King Alexander III.
And it was really good. And if you want to get the lowdown on that, man, you got to shell out that $10. But also, I've been giving some thought to the 10 words perk. And we've only had like 2 people cash in on that, even though we've had more people on the $10 tier. But we have a lot more people on the $1 and $5 tiers. So I'm going to extend that down. If you subscribe to the $5 tier, you're going to get 5 words from Uncle Buck. And if you subscribe to the $1 tier, you get 1 word from Uncle Buck. One time. It's a one-time only. And unless we come up with some other system where they can get it repeated.
A Google form.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway. So, and this is everyone. If you're subscribed to Patreon right now, the gates are open. Send me your words.
Send the words.
And on the next episode, I will read your list.
Yep, he asked for it.
I did. I will, regardless of what it is. I mean, when Raph sent in his list, it was about chuggling semen from a man's anus or something.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, I believe it.
You remember that episode. That was a long time ago.
I remember listening to it.
And then Joel Chaco, at the end of the episode, see, and here's what I did. I said them in a funny way so that they didn't fit together in a sentence. And then at the end of the episode, when the editing was done, Joel Chaco edited them back together into a sentence. And it almost came out melodically, and that I wanted to scream. But
yeah,
that's what it is. So, I think it's time for you.
Yeah, it's time for me to take a break because I have to pee.
We're taking a break. You don't have to pause anything. You just
be right back, guys.
Just leave the audio open. I'm gonna play with the chat for a little bit. Oh no! What did I do?
What'd you do?
I messed something up.
What'd you click?
I turned the screen and it went away. I was going to read.
You touched the wrong thing.
There we are.
You can use the mouse.
I don't want to use the mouse. Okay, so it's hard for me to see with these shades on, but someone asked me here, am I the only one who misses Joel? No, you're not the only one who misses Joel. I miss Joel a whole bunch. That's my buddy. And we don't talk about him on the show a whole lot because so much of the drama that from this show followed him. But, man, I miss that guy a whole bunch, and I got nothing but good things to say about that guy. And he's got a show right now called Chaco. No, it's Hot Chaco. Hot Chaco. And man, it's a good show. If you like Joel, you can go listen to Hot Chaco. But if you're gonna shit on him, don't do that. Let's see. Somebody says they're too high for this. I'm not high, but I get it. David, gentlemen. David, it's good to hear from you, man. Man, you need to. David, send me another voice message right now, and I'll play it at the end of the show. Send me something juicy, man. You guys remember David is the guy with the great voice, gentleman, and then Tab would shit on him. That's David. See what else we got. What the fuck? I didn't know Mad Cucks had an identical twin. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha, that's a great name for a show. Hot Choco? Yes, it is. Yes, it is a great name for a show. Let's see. I'll give a big fuck yeah for that. Okay. I don't know what that was in reference to. We need to own the moon so we can drop rocks on North Korea. You know what? Fuck it, sure. Yeah, I'm down.
Might as well.
I talked about Joel. I hope he's not mad.
What did you talk about him?
Someone asked about him. They said they miss him, and I said I miss him.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Joel's a good guy. We'll cut this part out. That guy got a lot of shit that he didn't deserve.
Take all away the appropriate Martian culture. Just great guys. Fuck the Martians. Fuck Matt Damon, too.
We're going to build a wall on Mars.
I'm gonna build a wall. It's gonna be huge. We're gonna keep out all the Martians, all the illegal Martian aliens. Then we'll have some fucking dipshit meme about, us going to Mars, that makes us illegal aliens on another planet. Shut up. Shut the fuck up and then kill yourself. You know what? You're not allowed on Mars. People who say
stay
things
the
like
fuck
that.
off of Mars.
Yeah, stay the fuck on Earth, bitch.
This is your ticket on the space train to Mars? Not anymore, bitch. Ticket over. I love that sound in the microphone now. I did it last episode. What were we even talking about where I ripped something up? It was so great.
It was tickets. It was this is my ticket for the seat, and I said I just ripped it up. Yeah.
I just love that sound now. That makes me so happy.
All right, so let's get back to some issues.
Yeah, so I don't get the sound. Okay, go ahead.
Here's what I don't get. Textbooks. You feeling a theme?
It's like one leads to the other, but I agree.
Exactly. Textbooks.
So tell me about textbooks.
Are also a fucking scam, bro.
I know the bookstore at the college is, but
the books themselves are scams because now what they're doing is they're selling on e-textbooks for $150, and what it gives you is you can't even you buy a used book, but then you still have to buy the e-textbook because the e-textbook comes with your little code, and the little code gives you access to Math Lab or Pearson Higher Learning fucking bullshit this, and all it is homework. It's like, why am I paying why don't I just give you $150 and then you can fuck off and you just give me an A? Oh, I'm not fucking paying for homework. This is bullshit. I refuse to buy textbooks anymore because it's an industry that's built around releasing new editions as frequently as possible so that the used textbook market, they can get the blow the shit out of that. You've got the bookstore, the college bookstore, which they're already charging out the ass for tuition, so now let's charge you $200 for this textbook, and then you want to sell it back at the end of the year? Best we can do is $50, and then what do? Turn around and sell it for $180.
That is some horse shit right there. See, because it's been that way forever. Because when I was going to college, there were the smart people who would camp out outside the bookstore
and just get it from somebody.
The private sector popped up and solved the issue, but the early bird gets the worm. You had to be there on the first day because those hot deals, man, they were moving.
Yeah, it's Prime Day. I had a friend who went back to return all of her textbooks at the end of our first year at TU. She got $7. She spent $228 on her books, and she got $7 back.
That's like selling something back to GameStop.
Yeah, that was on the 3 books that they took back out of, I think.
Were they sports textbooks?
A total of 9. No, they were. Well, they were just shitty books. The other thing that pisses me off about textbooks is that you get them for a class, and some of them you read them for like 2 weeks, and then the class is over. That section is over, and you don't need this book anymore, and you read maybe 2/3 of it.
Yeah, that's horse shit.
The cost of making the book is nothing, and it's even less now with e-textbooks. And the thing that really pisses me off is that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has a website called openstacks.org where they have free peer-reviewed college textbooks in all of your major core subjects. Like if you have an outlying thing or a really specific class, probably not going to have it, but for your math class, your English class, your physics class, your psychology class, all available, all free.
You mean the things where facts don't change with time, like 1 + 1 still equals 2, whether it's 1969 or 2019?
Yeah, but even then, these books are peer reviewed and constantly updated. So they are as good as your Pearson or whatever textbook from the seller. Here's another thing that I don't get about textbooks is when anytime I take a class and I get I get the syllabus and the textbook is Professor Jerkoff and the book is History of Civics by R.M. Jerkoff. I'm like, no, you're not gonna get an extra $50 out of me because I have to buy your textbook. Fuck you.
If you wrote the book, just teach me the material in the classroom.
Here's my philosophy on it. When you write a book about something in a textbook format, you should be putting in everything that you know. So if I have the textbook, I don't need your brain. I just don't need it. I had a class in medieval history at the University of Tulsa, and I was in office hours with the professor one day.
Did you get triggered about college while you were back in Oklahoma this past 3 weeks? Did you visit your college and just get triggered the fuck out?
No, I had this for a while, but I
holding
wanted to
on to-
save
okay.
it for an in-studio.
Aside, over, continue.
So I had this professor, and he taught medieval history, and he was like an expert in medieval history. He had written several books in medieval about the specific things that we were doing, very specific textbooks. And so I was in his office one day during office hours, and we were talking. I was like, you've got these books up here that you wrote about this. Why didn't you have us buy them? Because like my script analysis teacher had us buy 2 of his books. He's like, well, I had you buy 2 books for this class. I had you get this textbook that I hate. And I've told you that I hate this textbook and I disagree with it. And I had you buy a book of primary sources. And then you take notes in my lecture and you get what my thoughts on it. That's what's in my book. And so my hope is that you take my interpretation of history, you take an interpretation of history that I disagree with, and you take the primary source documents of history and you put that all together and you come up with your own idea about what stuff is supposed to be. And I was and then never again will I buy a textbook by a professor that wrote it.
So what he did was he introduced you to a marketplace of ideas.
Yeah.
Some that he agreed with, some that he didn't agree with, and then presented both sides of a case, and then you, being an adult of sound mind, were able to look at both sides of the story and decide for yourself which was more plausible.
Yeah.
That
is what I like to call
an education.
An education.
Holy fucking
As
shit!
As opposed to these people that have you. So I told the story about the music appreciation class. I had understanding music, and in the first chapter of this book, written by the professor, these classes used to be called music appreciation, but that doesn't go far enough, and blah 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 blah. And it's actually understanding music, because in this book we're gonna set out to teach you all this fucking nonsense. And it came with like 6 CDs that you're supposed to listen to and learn to identify the
CDs.
Stuff. Yeah, so you could listen along with the textbook. I dropped that class. I'm like, I'm not fucking. I don't need you. You wrote a book. I don't need your bullshit. The online fucking stuff really pisses me off. The one time I'll accept it is if it's an online class. But if you give me an online textbook and then I have to go sit in a lecture hall and you talk at me for 40 minutes, fuck you, kiss my ass. And especially when you get into classes that big, they do these things. They're called eye clickers, and they're basically like a remote control with 5 buttons on them, and you buy these remote controls for $75, and you hook them up to the system, and then they put up little quizzes on the board, and you click a button and answer the quizzes, and that's like your attendance and participation grade.
You brought up something else that pisses me off about college. Now, when I was in college, I graduated in the year 2000. So, fall of 2000, I'm going to college. And I took a math class, and I took that class to learn college algebra. Okay?
Yeah.
Whichever one it was. It's been a long time ago. I'm old. Instead of teaching college algebra, what did they teach? Just take a wild stab at it.
I don't know.
The TI-83.
Oh, the calculator?
Yeah, they didn't teach us specifically the TI-83, which was at the time at least $100 calculator, which was fucking expensive for me, right?
They still cost that. Those are the most expensive fucking calculators in the world. I have a TI-89 Plus. Talking about harkening back to petty theft.
I've still got my TI-83. It just doesn't work anymore. It needs new batteries or something.
Yeah, I stole that from my high school.
I should have, but listen. The guy who reminded me a lot of Andy Griffith, the fuck are you doing, man?
I like to make the shark talk while you're talking.
You son of a bitch. So, I can't look at you when that happens, though. It distracts me. You distracted me, kid. You bothered me. So, the guy reminded me of Andy Griffith. He'd stand up there with both hands in his pockets, just swaying back and forth like fucking Matlock, and talking in his southern North Carolina drawl. He was from Mount Airy, which is the actual Mayberry. And I need to take you there, by the way.
Okay.
Just an aside. So he would stand up there, and instead of teaching us how to do the actual math, he would teach us how to solve the problem with the TI-83. Now, the problem is, I didn't understand what the TI-83 was doing to get to the solution.
But it doesn't matter. That's why you have technology, Buck. We don't need to know the math. Unless you're a mathematician, you don't need to know. Nobody cares.
The problem was, when my TI-83 broke or got stolen, I couldn't afford another one, so then I had to do the problems by hand, which is why I ended up failing the class, because I no longer had the tool. And he's not just going to, out of the kindness of his heart, give me one.
Okay.
That's not how that fucking works. So,
So here's why I'm a diabolical person. So I had a class where we were supposed to have one of these iClicker remote things.
right.
I refused to buy one. So I sent the teacher an email. I was like, hey, I'm not buying one of these iClickers. Like, they're $75. This is the only class that I've ever had that requires one. Like, this is stupid. I went online and I found out that you can set up a thing in the application that runs your little quizzes where I can answer the questions on my phone or computer for free.
Right.
Will you turn that on? He's like, oh yeah, come talk to me after class and we'll get that set up for you. After class, what happens?
Nothing.
Disappears.
Motherfucker's
like a
gone.
ghost.
He's like Houdini. He's out.
Gone. And I was like, so I sent him an email the other day. I was like, hey, you weren't there. I need to set this up. Okay, well, I'll take a look at it. I'm sure I can figure it out. And then, the following week rolls around. He still hasn't set it up. I was like, look, here's a screenshot. This is the application. Click on this thing with a circle. Then go to this thing with a circle. Then click this thing. And then, boom, you're done. I created one just fiddling around with the app. And he never did it. Finally, he just acquiesced and just gave me his little iClicker, and I used that for the whole semester.
Man, but that's the thing. Like, if he had taught... I went to the dude's fucking office. I was like, hey, look, I no longer have a TI-83. I'm using this cheap knockoff, but it doesn't function the same way the TI-83 does. Are you familiar with this new calculator? He goes, I'm not real familiar with that one. I said, well, look, here's the thing. This particular problem, I don't even remember what it was. This particular problem, I'm not a real good math guy, but can you show me on pen and paper and explain to me the logic behind how to reach this conclusion so that I can pass your class and you can have a good score as a professor? He goes, well, really what we do is we just teach the calculator. And I'm like, I understand that, but please tell me you understand how to do the math problem. He goes, I do, but that's not what I'm getting paid to do. I'm getting paid to teach you how to do the calculator. I'm like, I don't want to know the fucking calculator. I don't have the calculator. I can't afford the fucking calculator anymore, you son of a bitch. Can you show me on this other calculator, the knockoff? He goes, I'm not familiar with that one. I can't show you that. You're going to have to go buy another TI-83. And that was when I discovered what rage was, because I just...
Wow, you were old. I discovered rage much younger.
I mean, listen, I did too, but that was a little bit of hyperbole. But that was one of those times where that healthy young man rage boiled up in me, and I was like, I outweigh this guy by like 30 pounds at this point. I could probably strangle him out and be gone before the cops get here.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about forensics, and I'm glad I didn't try it because they would have got me. But I really wanted to strangle this string bean and just pop his Orville Redenbacher head right off. That's who he looked like, Orville Redenbacher. But anyway, I just wanted to pop his head clean off and put it in my pocket and then just walk away. And when they asked me what the answer on the test was, be like, here's your answer. Pow! His severed head. That's the answer.
That would have gotten you expelled.
Murder. Murder is the answer to all your math problems. Fuck you. Sorry.
Exactly. So
derail your problem.
The other, when professors write their own books, what they're doing is they're not
jerking off.
They're jerking off, but they're jerking off not to teach you with. They write those books because then they show that to the college, like, oh, I wrote this book, this textbook. That's
Give me tenure.
Give me tenure. And it's not the money that they get from it is kind of piddly, but if they get enough people to adopt it, then it starts to matter. The understanding music class that I had, he had written that with 4 other professors, and they were pushing that book on other colleges and pushing them to change the terminology from understanding music to music appreciation, so that they adopt their book. And fucking expensive book. The editions bullshit they do. There's a book that we're required to buy as theater majors called The Longman Anthology of Drama, and it's this 2.5-inch thick book of every just a ton of plays from ancient Greece to modern day. And aside for the handful of plays from the modern day, all those plays are available online for free because they're so old. They're public domain at Project Gutenberg.
Yeah.
But the teacher doesn't just say, like, here's a link to this PDF on Project Gutenberg. No, buy this book. And then they justify it by saying, like, oh, yeah, it's a $95 textbook, but you're going to use it for Intro to Dramaturgy, History of Theater 1 and 2, your acting classes, and, like, this laundry list of classes. And it's like, no. They're available for free online.
Yeah, if I actually want to put my whole ass into these classes and do this for a living, I'm going to care enough to look these up on the internet and use that. I don't need your fucking $90 compilation.
Yeah. And I hate when...
It's a playlist. That's a $90 iTunes playlist, motherfucker.
I hate when they do things like in a department, they'll get all the different classes to agree to do one thing. So, like, your intro to stagecraft, intro to lighting, intro to costume design, they all use the same book that you never read from. You're just buying it because.
Sorry, I was reading comments.
Yeah, the whole textbook market is designed to keep new editions coming. There's a light design book called Designing with Light by Michael Gillette, and he releases a new edition every 2 or 3 years, and all the new editions do is rearrange the chapters for no fucking reason. I had an edition. I had like a 3rd edition, and we were on the 7th edition, and all the chapters were verbatim the same, except I was missing one chapter on moving headlights. That was the only thing that had changed in 4 editions. Was the order. Like, there was a little bit of clarification in a couple of chapters, and then this one edition of new technology. It's like, fuck you, Michael Gillette.
Well,
why do you need 7 editions? Why do you fucking just write it right the first time?
You see, there's such a thing, as you're aware, as planned obsolescence.
Yes.
But that's not even good planned obsolescence because the first book is still not obsolete.
No.
You failed. There should be a college course on planned obsolescence, so at least if you're going to rip me
that
off,
would be
do it right.
educational.
Yeah.
Then you learn something. Then you would not buy into the system. But it's all about keeping you willing to buy into the system. That's why they want you to buy your textbooks from the bookstore and then sell them back, because the used textbooks, that's all fucking profit. A brand new textbook costs them something.
Cost them $20.
A used textbook, they buy that back from you. You know, I said $50 earlier, but that's a high estimate. They buy it back from you for $25. They're not selling it for $35. They're selling it for 100% less than what the original fucking retail price was, as if there's something. And then, God forbid, you have one of these fucking online access deals. That's the real bullshit of it. Because what the textbook company's doing is they're selling the professor his time. That's how they rope them into it. They're like, well, if you require our online textbook, you don't have to assign any classwork of any kind because it's all built in. You don't have to grade it because it's all built in. But then you're dealing with fucking robots, and robots are stupid.
Yeah.
You leave one, you put a period instead of a comma, or you spell a word wrong. A human's gonna look at that and be like, "Oh, that says schizophrenia." But the computer's like, "Oh, no, those letters aren't in exactly the order that I know that they're supposed to be in the order of."
You get a mark off.
You lose points. It's
You failed your test. Go back and do it again for
Kill.
$500.
everyone.
Yeah.
The textbooks are also they. I have a friend of mine. His dad was in the textbook industry, and they would basically, like, the new edition comes, they just print and print and print and print and print, and the new edition rolls along, and they just throw all the old ones away.
Buff Kebab says the books get new intros.
Yeah,
New introductions.
a new little preface. Hi, I'm Johnny Dipshit. I'm friends with EM Jerkoff, and I'd just like to tell you about what an honor it is to work with such a great mama.
Let me jerk him off. Yeah, that's it. You get jerked off by a new person in every edition.
Every fucking edition.
That's what it is. Yeah. Man, I'm tired of this guy jerking me off. I need another edition so someone new can jerk me off. I need another hand on my dick.
That's the other reason why I respected that professor that I told the story about earlier, that with the three sources. The book that he had us buy was a photocopy that we bought from the copy store because they released a new edition of the textbook. He didn't like the new edition of the textbook. The bookstore refused to stock the out-of-date edition because the supplier doesn't want you to, that isn't going to keep making it. So they know they're running out of dwindling supply. So we took it to the copy place, had a photocopy made. The photocopy, we had to go buy the photocopy, but it only cost us like $15. You know, I can respect that. I can respect a $15 book, a $20 book,
as opposed to $150.
As opposed to $150 books,
and 1/10 of the price. The free market is a magnificent thing.
And what my peers would be like, well, I bought the book for lighting design, I bought the book for sound design because, you know, I eventually want to have a library of men. I'm like, no, you fucking don't. You will never reference this book ever. Nope. What are you gonna fucking look in there and be like, well, which one? What's it called? Oh, yeah, the McCandless system is where we do that. No, you go with your fucking instincts. It's an art.
Yeah, that's because you use the right word. But at that point, when you're doing something like that, you're going off of things that you have seen work in person, and you're doing it off an instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
It's textbooks. They're a scam. I don't get it. I don't get why we're still... How in the world do people still buy into that's a good idea?
Because you've been doing it forever.
I just stopped buying them.
That's the system you're under, and until somebody breaks the balls of that system, it's all it's ever going to be. Same with college.
I broke my not buying textbook rule twice. One was for an online class, because otherwise you're just fucked.
Right.
The other one was for my sound techniques class, because the book cost $16 on Amazon.
There you go.
And the professor was like, yeah, there are better books than this one, but this one's $16. And when I was in college, I hated having to buy textbooks, so I figured I'd have you buy one that didn't cost anything. It's like $16. I'm fucking good with $16. Like,
yeah,
that's dinner. That's a dinner out one night. Yeah, that's no big deal.
It's going to the Chinese buffet for you and your significant other.
Yeah. Yeah, totally fine with that. No big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
The other thing that pisses me off is that they make you buy those textbooks like week one before any of your loans or anything comes in. So it's like, oh, just, you know,
out of your pocket.
Figure it out. I don't. What the fuck?
You're out on the water. You better swim, buddy.
It's a scam.
It is. All right. So you good?
I am good.
That was a good issue, man. We got a lot out of that. A lot of content in that issue.
You.
All right. So here's one that we're not going to get any content out of. Here's what I don't get. Ecosexuals.
What?
There's that grin again. There's that grin. So, as I have done in the past, as I've talked about in other issues,
you got to stop going on Facebook, man.
I was bopping
You're
around
gonna get
Facebook.
Brain cancer, dude.
I've already got it.
Jesus.
Believe me. So listen, I was.
Stop fucking flicking stuff with your pen. You're making all kinds of noise. Keep yourself calm.
No,
I'm gonna
can't.
start pulling stuff away from your side of the table.
I'm gonna punch you right in your fucking mouth. That's what I'm gonna do. So I was bopping around Facebook as we do. Same thing with the What was the last one I did?
Cuddlists.
The Cuddlists?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is about the same time. I waited a couple weeks to bring this one in, so they weren't back-to-back. But it's about the same time. I see this video, and I'm going to describe what I see on the screen first, before I get to the enraging part. What I see first is degenerate. Women in the mud. Women are not in and of themselves degenerate. I'll go ahead and say that. But there's women in the mud, nude, smearing mud all over their bodies. Okay, I'm in. What's this?
Is it a spa?
No.
Sounds like a spa.
No, it's in the woods.
Okay. Well, it's definitely not a spa.
And they're not pretty women. But I'm still there's
Fat
the
chicks need spas too, Buck.
listen, I'm not going to judge that. I'm a fat guy. I understand being fat. Fat people need pleasure in their lives. Arguably, maybe they've already had too much, but look, we'll save that argument for another time. So there's these unattractive women, unattractive in the way that lets me know that maybe they're of a kooky political affiliation, but
They got some Coke bottle glasses on
and some weird haircuts.
Yeah.
So and their body fat distribution tells me they might be anyway. So I'm gonna just see what's going on here because it's like a train wreck. At this point, I can't look away. I see fat women smearing mud all over their bodies, including their nether regions. Specifically, their nether regions.
Sounds like a good prescription for yeast infection.
Listen, we're not going to talk about yeast infections right now. We did that at the top of the episode. So anyway, but I'm like, okay, so what the fuck is this degeneracy? The next thing I see, a pair of women in a close-up licking a tree. Not just a straight up licking licking a tree with licking the bark of a tree. For one, that's gross.
Yeah. I feel like if I saw someone licking a tree, I'd probably be like, I think someone escaped a mental institution.
Well, I'm getting there. The next thing I see is someone grinding their body sexually on a large rock. And now, bear in mind, the way videos work on social media at this point, this is a barrage. So we're talking these three images in all of this descriptive glory or lack of this descriptive hellscape in the span of about 5 seconds. So already I'm going, what? Like you don't know what's happening. You're like, what?
Yeah.
That confusion sets in. That inexplicable despair. This despair of, oh no, someone just buckled me in for this ride. And I no longer have the wherewithal to look away because it's so degenerate. I have to investigate. Click.
That makes one of us.
No, I'm a sucker, man. You show me something that's fucked up, I'm in. I don't know what's
like marrying anime. I don't know why you shared that with me. Like I would want to see that.
Okay, so for the listeners, I found this video about this chapel in Japan where you can marry your favorite anime character in VR. So you go into this chapel, you put on your tuxedo, and you put on these VR goggles, and you have an actual ceremony with your favorite anime character, and then as they go to kiss the bride, someone sneaks up in front of you in your VR goggles with a little pair of lips on a stick and goes... So anyway, yeah, because I thought it was degenerate and funny.
Everybody at that ceremony was just sitting there like...
Yeah. I don't think there was anybody at that ceremony. That's because you're forever alone. That's the problem. So anyway, I'm hooked in. I'm like, well, there's no longer any agency for me at this point. I'm along for the ride. I click the video. Ecosexuals, people who are semi-honestly showing their love for the environment by physically having some sort of sexual sensations with the fucking forest, with woods, including now. Well, I'll get there. Including wedding ceremonies.
Yeah, we just need to fuck Mars. Just kill.
Just go to Mars and start over.
Alexa, fire all the nukes at everything. Please. Please.
It's, there's this meme. There was a meme that popped up in this election cycle about the SMOD. You know what that is?
No.
The sweet meteor of death.
No.
There's going to be Clinton, Trump, or the meteor.
I voted for the giant meteor.
A lot of people voted for the meteor, and I was kind of between Trump and the meteor at that point. I was like, oh, God, here we go. Eventually, I voted for Trump because the meteor dropped off the ticket. But anyway.
Shit sandwich, dog shit sandwich, cat shit sandwich. That's what this last election was.
Listen, we won't get into that. That's for another episode. But anyway, so I'm like, man, how did we get... It's the same thing with the cuddlists. I'm like, how did we get here as a society where people are taking... There's a group of like hundreds of people out in the fucking woods somewhere, almost exclusively women. The only male, what I would call biologically male person I saw in this video was the minister in the frock for performing the ceremonies where people were marrying the earth for their environmentalism.
Great.
Yeah. And there's not much to say about it other than like, your brain just clogs up, man. How do you get here? I understand people who have a thought process of wanting to preserve the environment, and I understand the debate about this about the environment versus that about the environment, the facts versus the fictions, but this is a whole different level, man, where you are a human being, presumably a sentient human being who is not mentally deficient, and it's debatable after I saw this video. This woman goes out, and they've created a pit of mud, and what should have been the sacred rite of mud wrestling, which is hot, women laying in the mud, rubbing their crotches with literal wet dirt because they're somehow masturbating with dirt saves the environment. Somehow grinding your pelvis on a literal fucking boulder is increasing intimacy with the earth. I even saw them doing this on a tree.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that boulder is rock hard.
Where's this fucking
thing? Don't play this.
No, wait, wrong one.
Sound.
Man, at this point,
stupid.
I don't even know anymore. I even saw the chicks doing the grinding their crotches on trees, which, aside from all the other things, I thought, that's a surefire way to get a splinter.
Nicholas King said, if multiple people are doing this, then that means the earth is cheating.
No, it means the earth is polyamorous. And we all know what polyamory gets you.
Get you a $30,000 website with fans. So you know what I think this is?
What is it? Enlighten me.
I think this is the modern cat lady, where you have made yourself unattractive to the point where you are not... you feel like you have no worth, so instead of trying to better yourself, you just kind of resign yourself to that fact, and then you become, the cat lady is the cliche where you just dedicate yourself to your life with your 24 cats. Well, these people are now dedicating their life to like where they think the earth can literally satisfy them because they can't attract a mate.
I would agree with that, except that listen, man, now you and I are both, I would call us relatively normal guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, aside from a slight skew towards nerd fandom in some areas.
Geekness.
Geek fandom, okay. But for both of us, like, I've been there, you've been there. Okay, but, like, you can still have that aspect of your, like, I like vintage video games. Mm-hmm. You like Star Trek, I like Star Trek. But you can still have that part of your life as a portrait on the wall and still exist normally.
Yes.
But there's so much degeneracy that there's a mate for these women. Like, there's some guy...
yeah, there's some beta out there who's watching that and like, I love the environment too.
I guarantee, listen, I guarantee you, there's a guy out there right now who watched that video of this not attractive woman
and jerked it,
smearing mud in her vagina, to be very explicit, she's masturbating with mud, and he was like, "That is so hot." Wank, wank, wank. Fap, 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 fap. Splooge. There's no reason to. So that's why I don't think your cat lady theory works out, because even
but
cat
they
lady
don't know that guy exists.
How
Those
could they
two
not?
People are so beta that they're never going to talk to one another. They're going to be pass each other on the train and just never even look up. They're so focused on themselves and their own failings that they have shut themselves off to the idea of having a sexual relationship that's normal to everybody else.
Well, I'll say this. There are such things to break you out of that, like Tinder. Like there's sexually degenerate dating sites, like for furries, right?
Yeah.
So you can go to yifinhell.com or whatever it is and find your whatever your weird little fetish is. If you like to jack off with gravel in your hand or whatever, you can find someone who's also someone of the opposite sex who's into that.
Who's also a gravel jerker.
Yeah. Hashtag gravel jerker. You can find this nonsense, and then you can have actual physical, tangible, non-imaginary sex with another human being. But I think that moves you out of that demographic then. I think once somebody starts getting laid on a regular basis,
oh yeah,
that weirdness suddenly disappears, man. I was all into fucking swords and kilts and shit until I started getting my dick wet, and all of a sudden I was like, you know, maybe getting my dick wet's more important than playing with knives. Just a thought.
No, that's it. That's.
Video games are cool. Computers are cool. But getting my rocks off with another human being, way cooler. Way cooler, man.
I think they just need to find the right person.
And that's what I think these chicks need. I think they just need these weird lesbians that are grinding on trees and making out with ferns and marrying the pond or whatever the fuck they're doing. I saw a video about a woman who married a train station. She was clearly mentally
People are fucked, man.
Yeah, so but like I think everybody just needs to get everyone just needs to get fucked. Everyone needs,
I agree,
just honest to God sexual contact with another normal human being, and you do that a couple of times, and all of a sudden, man, the stars just start fucking aligning, and you're like, oh, this weird idea that I had, this weird standard I held myself to, yeah, I'm not sure about that anymore. Maybe being a normal fucking human being is more important than this. So that's another one we don't. I'm fired again. That was a solution.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Get fucked.
Get fucked. That's a solution.
That's a good one.
Sex is a solution for a lot of things.
Yes, it is.
That's all I got on this one, man.
That's a great issue. So I think that wraps it up for this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks to the guys, people in the live stream for watching and posting some comments. And we'll be maybe doing this again sometime soon. Thanks for supporting the show at Patreon. We really appreciate that. And, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube page for some of our videos. Share some posts on Facebook. Let your friends know about the show if you like it. And most of all, leave that 5-star iTunes review because that's also super helpful.
Yeah, hit us up with the voicemails.
I normally do the voicemails
after the music, but yeah.
If you want to call into the Here's What I Don't Get hotline at 704-750-9434 and leave us a voicemail about something you heard today. Maybe you also hate college. You want to weigh in on why it's a scam. Maybe you're a college professor and you want to challenge me and my mighty intellect, and I'll tell you to fuck off and make Buck stop playing the voicemail. Maybe you too have had some password rage that you need help with. Call in, let us know.
Tell us your passwords.
Tell us your passwords.
That's exactly.
Tell us your password philosophy, and then we will try and hack into your Facebook account.
Not your philosophy. I want to know what your password is and what service it's for and what your username is.
And most of all, keep calm and grab your grabby shark.
I almost brought mine.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Thanks for listening. Yeah. Until next time, I'm Tab Burt.
I'm Uncle Buck.
Thanks, guys.
I almost said ciao ciao. Bye-bye. fucked up.
You
You can do it in post.
No, play it all.
Well, I tried to switch over to the voicemail app in it.
Yeah, just replay it.
Just replay it. Here we go again.
Oh, this is a good episode. This is a long one. There's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of bonus bits on this one.
Dr. Jordan, what does that say? Jordan Pepson says, what's that say? TI-83 can suck dicks in hell.
Yep.
Alrighty, so.
What do we have for voicemails this week?
All right. This one, right off the bat, is addressed to you. You ready?
Okay, great. Yeah.
I can hear the anticipation, the joy in your voice.
Yeah.
You're excited.
Yeah, just play the voicemail.
Hi, Tab. I hope you're having a blessed day. I just wanted to call and let you know that I'm a sound guy for South Street Praise and Worship on Wednesday Youth Night. And I just wanted to let you know that even though I don't know the difference between a PA system and a soundboard, I still have some pretty good skills and consider myself to be a licensed professional, in the sense that I have a driver's license and I behave well. I mean, if you were to ask me if the speakers were Dolby or not, I would probably tell you that I don't know how to use Creative Suite. But I still thought that I'd give you some of my expertise on being a good sound guy. Like, for instance, all the kids love bass. So always make sure that the bass is turned all the way up at all times. Treble is boring, so turn treble down as much as you possibly can. Also, the only important mic on stage is the singer's mic. So make sure you turn that up so loud that it starts feeding back. And then dial it back just a little bit. Or don't. Feedback is proof that you're doing a good job. Anyway, thanks for letting me call in. And again, I hope you're having a great day. I'm such a good Christian.
Because I'm a real good Christian.
Oh, man.
American.
Yeah, that is a perfect representation of conversations I've had with people. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed it.
That's...
God, that's... Yeah. It's too true.
Now, listen, he said something there that amuses me. Because I read an article about this years ago, years in the past. I don't know who wrote it. It was these musicians who were on tour, Christian musicians, who obviously had a beef with the Christian music industry. And they said they would play this game when they were, like, waiting at the airport or whatever. Or they would have someone pick a random song from the music streaming service. Excuse me. And they would try to determine within the first couple of seconds, before they could actually understand the lyrics, whether or not the song was by a Christian artist or not.
Oh, yeah. I can do that.
And you can nail it almost all the time.
Yeah.
And they said one of the things that they could tell right off the bat whether it was a Christian artist or not was how hot the vocals were in the mix. Because that all-important Christian message, man, when you say the name of Jesus, you got to have that right up there.
Yeah, the compression level on the vocals versus the band on Christian music is always the same, and there's always an acoustic guitar for no reason.
Yeah.
One of the things he said in that I love is the bass versus treble, because your car stereo sometimes has that bass treble, but there's 19,980 hertz of frequency and sound.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people... That's what bugs me, man. So this past Sunday, our sound guy at church is kind of new. And we were having a trouble with the sound in the monitors, not sounding quite where we needed it to. It was kind of muddy, and we were having trouble picking each other apart, and so everyone could hear what they needed to hear. So we were trying to, me and the leader, Renee, were trying to give this guy like the 5-minute rundown on how frequencies work in a mix. Like, okay, so these two kind of occupy the same space, the guitars, and this person's vocal over here. So what you got to do is notch the guitar at this frequency and notch the vocal at the opposite frequency over here. If you're watching the video, it's like this, like a gangster. And that way they can both be distinct. But on a soundboard like we've got, you've got high, mid, low. That's it.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Here's So sound mixing comes down to, I think, philosophies. Once you reach a certain level of proficiency, then it becomes like what your philosophy on mixing is.
Right.
So there's lots of them, but there are two that I see a lot. There's the sound guy, and what he likes is he finds the thing that he likes and puts more of it. So, oh, that guitar sounded really good. Let me turn that up. Oh, that guy's voice sounded really good. Let me turn that up. And you end up with a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff competing.
What you should be doing is finding what you don't like and taking
removing
it away.
Yes.
But you can't, if it's like, oh, I don't like this guitar player, you can't turn them off. They didn't hire you to edit the
You're
way they
not editing
sound.
for content.
You just need to like make him blend a little bit more.
That's called additive versus subtractive blending. You were talking about this with light.
Yep.
Was it last episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And so, man, this is not a workshop on how to run sound, but
That's my little one of my little nuggets of wisdom on sound mixing.
it's our nugget of wisdom because I talked about it too.
All right. What
Okay,
else
so our buddy Sage called back in. Sage, remember Sage?
yeah, how many voicemails did I leave this time? 5, 6, 7, 8.
You have to stay tuned in to find out.
Dozen.
Hey guys, Sage again. So,
Hey, Sage.
I have an issue this week, or here's what I don't get.
It's an issue.
Fucking ridiculously fat people. I'm watching this fucking fat motherfucker that weighs at least like 450 pounds.
I have a feeling this is aimed
He's
at me.
fucking got a goddamn electric wheelchair.
Nope, never
No,
mind.
not you.
Okay, we have a big-ass event that there's a bunch of fucking intentionally fat people who think they're beautiful coming in here. And these fat motherfuckers think that they need fucking special treatment and shit. Like, oh, I get an electric wheelchair. Fine, whatever, fatty. Not that walking will fucking help your fatness, you fucking cunts. But, they fucking...
Yeah?
This fucker, right now, he is getting on a fucking bus. He needs a fucking lift, a goddamn electric fucking lift, because he's too fucking fat to walk up goddamn 3 steps to get into a fucking bus.
Through a
What
window.
the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, can you not just fucking stop stuffing your fucking face? I'm a fat guy, but Jesus Christ, I know when to fucking stop shoving 10,000 calories in my fucking gullet. Like, fuck these people.
If you're a fat guy, apparently
All right,
you don't.
again, thanks for the, God, I'm fucking flustered. Fuck these people. All right, thanks, guys. Love the show. Bye.
Get it
Thanks.
off your chest, man.
Hey, listen, man, that's what the show is for. I want more people to call in and tell us what they don't get. Because it's, man, like this. This is interesting because you get this mental picture of this guy sitting here. I don't know what his job is. He works at like a casino or something. He's looking out at this bus and he's screaming through a pane of glass with, like you said, with the phone at his ear, talking to us, but he's screaming at this fat guy. So we're just catching this fat guy's L is all we're doing. But
Yeah.
at least it's entertaining. He had more to say about it, though, so let me...
Of course he did.
I just want to show you this wall of text in the app. Here we go.
Hey, guys, Sage, one more time.
One more time.
Another story of these fat fucks. We had one guy get on one of our buses, come here, and then he threw a fucking temper tantrum and was like fucking flinging his fists around, like freaking the fuck out on the bus because we wouldn't help him like properly get off of the bus because he's too fucking fat to where they had to shove the seat up to like, and he's trying to get out and they have to like shove his ass so he doesn't fall fucking backwards onto the ground because he's so fucking fat. And it takes 3 of them in order to do this as well. 3 people to fucking hold one gigantically fat person from falling and fucking falling to the earth. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, what is wrong with you, you fucking fatty? But, yeah, then they get his electric wheelchair for him, and he refuses to sit on it because it's not big enough. It's fucking 3 feet across, you fat motherfucker. Like, get on a fucking treadmill, do anything to fucking lose some weight. And then he, of course, has complaints and shit saying that we weren't friendly enough, all that shit. But, yeah, Fuck
I mean,
fat people, like morbidly obese people. If anyone who fucking like expects special privileges because they're so fucking fat they can't do things normal people can. Kill yourself.
He's
All right,
angry.
bye.
all right, bye. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. When you lack the ability to like serve your own bodily needs and functions, stop eating. Just stop fucking eating. Come on.
I mean, I'm getting there.
When you like you're too fat to walk through Walmart to get your own food, the people at Walmart should just be like, yeah, sorry, sir, you're gonna have to leave.
The problem's going to solve itself.
We're not gonna scan any of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to dive too deep into that for various reasons, but yeah, I feel his rage, man. I feel his issue. I feel what he doesn't get as I pour a Mountain Dew into a glass.
Is that the last one? We got any more?
You want a Mountain Dew? I thought you didn't like Mountain Dew.
No, I meant voicemails. I don't like
That's
Mountain Dew.
it for voice. I got a Diet Coke. You want a Diet Coke?
No, I don't drink diet soda.
The hell's wrong with you? That aspartame is good for you.
Yeah,
Gives
I'd
you
rather
life.
have sugar and/or high fructose corn syrup.
Well, that's probably why you're thinner than I am.
Yep.
That, and I have no idea of portion control. I eat way too much. So that's the thing,
Get
though.
smaller plates.
A smaller plate.
No, it's true. It's a psychological thing. It makes you think you've eaten more when you have a smaller plate.
Okay. I mean, I know where you're referencing. I listened to that today, too. So, yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll listen to what?
We'll talk about that afterwards. So, anyway, I guess this has been Here's What I Don't Get.
I'm Tab Burt.
I'm Uncle Buck.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye. Leave the live stream going, though. We're going to have some fun. So someone asked, what is the lady drink there, Uncle Buck? The lady drink I had was some white liquor of undisclosed make and origin in Mountain Dew. Or later on in whiskey. Or whiskey and Mountain Dew, sorry.
Oh, man, you know what I found out is a great combo the other day?
What is that?
Glen Morangi and Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's a sweet-ass combo.
The Aunt Buck and I were listening to a song the other day. They were talking about Crown Royal and Sprite. And apparently I've heard this song at two different points. And I had a different reaction each time. Like, I don't remember between the two times because I sleep and I forget things. I just have this complete memory wipe every day. Every day's a new day. So the first time I heard this song, she was like, Sprite and Crown Royal? And I was like, she doesn't drink. She's like, Crown whiskey and Sprite? And I was like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, that's Seagram 7 and 7 is Seagram 7 and
yeah.
7 Up.
But
so.
the second time I heard this song, I was the one who was like, wait, what? Crown and Sprite? How would... So then she's like, wait a minute, you defended that before. And I said, yeah, but like I'm trying to remember how Crown Royal tastes because I haven't had it in like 10 years.
Depends on what you get because Crown has gone overboard with the flavors. They've got Crown Vanilla, Crown Canadian Maple, Crown Apple, Crown Chocolate. It's like, guys, just make a fucking whiskey.
Yeah, taste this. Right now, I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't have another glass.
Just drink it out of the fucking mason jar.
It's gross.
That's not gross. I haven't put my lips on it.
That's gross, man.
You're a pussy.
I can't do it.
You're a pussy and a half. Anyway, so we got any more questions over here?
It says prick.
That says pink.
That was your pink glass. That's just the cup's pink. My cup's green.
Yeah, the cup is pink, and I did not choose this glass. It is just the one that Tab gave to me.
I chose that glass specifically.
You fucking prick.
It was on top. There was a few. It was like, I go orange. Now I'm going with pink.
Just to emasculate Uncle Buck.
Yeah, well, you posted the photo of us Photoshop spooning for Cuddless. Fucking,
I did. That was so great.
That's what you get. Pink cup. You're welcome.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat too. I was laughing the entire time I made that fucking. So
yeah, I can tell. And you messaged me like, "Oh, hope you're okay with your sexuality." And it's like, well, you've already posted it, so
I don't think I had posted at that point, but I was waiting on you to protest, and you never did. So I just said, because you don't always respond to me, and so I'm like, well, I get that you're just not a talkative guy over text. I was like, well, I guess he either didn't see it or he doesn't have a problem. So here we go. What else we got?
I just got diagnosed with diabetes and had to switch to diet soda. I hate it, but if you think that's going to stop me from mixing it with vodka, you're dead wrong. And you know what? Stay strong. Because if I got diagnosed with diabetes, I'd probably just be like, well, fuck it. I guess I'm going to die.
I'm gonna. Nothing's gonna stand between me and this
A regular
precious
Dr. Pepper,
This
yeah.
precious liquor. No, it's just the liquor, man. Y'all found out like one shot glass of liquor is like 90 calories, or something like that. That's ridiculous.
The calories don't count if you don't know that they're there.
Listen, I have discovered that's not true. Because I've lived 35, almost 36 years of my life not regarding calories. And as you can see in this little cubicle from my bulbous gut, the calories fucking count. But as long as you don't mind dying in early death and having hernias and shit, it's whatever.
I'm anticipating that I'll get everything replaced with robot parts in the next 15, 20 years.
I think that's the only hope I have left because man, I never thought of myself as a medical problem person, but God, they're creeping up on me and that's fucking scary. What else we got? Clear liquor has no calories. It's science. I beg to differ. Although I'm more of a fan of brown liquors anyway, so maybe I just prefer the calories. I can't believe you won't drink this.
I'm not going to drink it directly out of a mason jar. I'm a sophisticated man.
Listen.
I will go grab another glass for the bonus episode that we're about to record.
We still got another episode. Oh, God,
Yes,
that's
we
right.
do.
Fuck me. What time is it now anyway?
9:10.
Jesus, we're going to be here late.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, okay. I guess we better cut this off then.
fuck calories. All I do is watch carbs and sugar, and I lost 40 pounds. Yeah, Mr. Kill Everything. I just increased my activity, and I lost 30 pounds. So
I started going to the gym, and while I wasn't losing pounds, I was losing inches.
yeah.
The problem was then I also changed shifts from second to first, and it fucked my schedule up, and now I can't go to the gym because of obligations that I have, so now I'm ballooning back up again. Just as quickly as I started losing this shit, it started coming right back, and now it's worse, and that fucking kills me, man. But I also love seeing my family in the evenings.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's going to be it for the live stream because we got to do another episode. We're going to do a bonus episode of what I do get.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I guess I got to figure out what I get.
Oh, I've already got 2 of them. They're pretty great.
I've got one.
I've got 3, actually, but I'm only going to do 2 of them.
I've got one in my head right now, and if it's not on your list, I'll have to look.
No, it's probably not. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.
Somebody copy and paste all these and email them to me. UncleBuck704@yahoo.com.
I don't think anybody's going to do that.
I bet somebody will do it right now. We're not going to turn this off until someone emails these to me right now.
I'm turning this off. So thanks for watching,
Son
guys.
of a bitch.
Appreciate it. We'll catch you guys next week maybe, and I'll be doing some video game streams here coming up this week. So tune in for those. Thanks a lot, and until next time, I'm Mad Cooks.
I'm Uncle Buck. Bye-bye.